Starlight Glimmer definitely has one of the best, most complete stories for My Little Pony, and that's saying a lot. As much as I enjoy MLP, they leave a lot of stuff open-minded to interpretation, or just downright tend a story on a good note but never do enough with it that's satisfying. Starlight Glimmer is a good contrast to that. But even so, despite having one of the best overall plots in the series, I argue there was still so much more you could do with her. She should have been the new main lead. And I'll tell you why. Get your kid ass out of here. Hello, I'm Discord Jedi Knight, and if we were ranking characters based on character arcs, despite Discord being my favorite character, I'd say Starlight has the best, followed by Fluttershy, Discord, and Luna. But that's just me. Another topic for another time, perhaps. But let's stick to Starlight for this video. It's actually funny that I don't bring her up more. Like, my favorites are definitely set. I really enjoy Discord, Twilight, and Fluttershy. But I just love villains, the mind of one and why they do what they do. I love it when a series dives deep into their reasoning for their cruelty. Starlight Glimmer definitely fits the bill as the best story. It starts out in Season 5 of the main 6, after the grand adventure of defeating TRK, getting a new castle, and wondering what's next for them. Who May map shows up, sending the team to a little town in the middle of nowhere, knowing that there must be some reason the map from the elements of harmony is sending them there. The team decides to investigate, finding out that Starlight, the leader of the town, is forcing people to be happy. And it has this wired, everything needs to be perfect, minimalize happy society. It's so creepy and disturbing how everyone in town gave up their unique diversity to comply with an over-satyr form of happiness, and were more or less forced to do it if you were an outsider. It was pretty much a cult, all led by Starlight Glimmer, who was the ringleader of it all. I enjoy her so much in this. She's got quite the attitude, smart, and above all, crafty. You could really dive into the cult aspect of this. The lesson My Little Pony was really going into here is fascinating. But that is for another video, perhaps when we eventually review those videos. No, I want to talk about what happened after that. What is hands down the best aspect of her character is when she is redeemed. Something I really do wish MLP would go into more is how after redemption, there's that awkward phase of being present and knowing everyone hates you. While they did a little bit for Princess Luna, I really wish there was more focus on her just after her redemption, slowly getting used to the new Cantor Law and feeling out of place until she makes the right connections with the Bad Ponies. Yes, I think the Bad Ponies would encourage her to get out of her shell, and that's why she went to Nightmare Night. But again, we have very little focus on it. Discord gets the most focus on it. I love how awkward it is whenever he shows up in Season 3 or 4, where you can tell no one but Fluttershy even trusts him. Even so, he's in the show so little it's hard to judge whether or not he actually even cares in 4 when he joins TRK. Maybe it should be left like that. I truly love Season for how it was set up. But I truly love the fact that after Starlight's redemption, we truly give her a chance in like Discord or Luna to show her remorse and her growth in Season 6. I actually argue that this was the last perfect season of the show. Like, don't get me wrong, I love all of MLP, friendship is magic, but it's not without its flaws. At this point, we've traveled with the main 6 for so long and have learned a lot of their journey. And while sure, we can do a few fun good episodes, and there are a few episodes I like after this point with them, like Fluttershy making her sanctuary. For example, despite that, I really do feel like at this point we should back off the main 6 and focus more on the other characters. They were only good because they began branching out and focusing on other characters. Not just the main 6. Like the Pinky, Rarity episode was actually about Maud, for example. At this point, we now had 4 groups, and the last thing we needed to do, in my opinion, was add new characters. We had the main 6, but they needed to take a step back from the spotlight. We had the background characters, and we needed more interaction with them, in my opinion. And they were doing this. The best example of it being one of the better episodes, and largely one of my favorite episodes Starlight was in, was when she literally mixed up the assets of Celestia and Luna, and this entire formula where the focus was on her. But Twilight was a prominent side character. Worked well. I felt like this should have been the formula moving forward. I mean, we had Starlight, now with Maud, Sunburst, Discord, Spike, Big Mac, and Thorax as well as the Dragon Lord herself. Starlight and Trixie should have now become more or less the main duo and interacted more with these other characters. And sure, they did that little bit, but in my opinion, it was all squashed. We were doing so well with season 6 and 7, and then they sabotage Swirl and his gang, taking all the focus off of Starlight, period. It by bringing back Star Swirl and his gang, taking all the focus off of Starlight, period. And don't even get me started on the dumpster fire of a season that turned out to be. And it's a shame because I liked some of what they were doing in season 8, with Twilight and her friends as teachers, and Starlight and Trixie finding their place in all of it. The problem was they were so mixed with no real focus on any of the crew that not one group really felt like it fit. Starlight was a great character to focus on. She was so much like Twilight Smart. Powerful and yet so like her. She wasn't a fancy student of a princess. She had a rough upbringing. Rough upbringing shaded by the fact that she lost her best friend. Once he had his ass tattoo. And so, using her anger, she forced others to do what she wanted until she was shown a betrayal. There were also the other characters from her town characters that forgave her and were becoming her friends. Like Sugarbelle. I wanted more focus on these characters. And then the comparison of her and Chrysalis, being both leaders, villains, and one choosing freedom and the other refusing to change. I love that comparison and could make an entire video about that, but again another time. We could have had Starlight interact with, like, Time Turners or everyone's favorite, Derpy Y Hooves. Instead, they squandered her potential to put the focus back on Twilight, back on characters who already told their story, and then focused on new characters who could have had some fascinating character growth if you focused on them and didn't take the focus away from them every other episode. A disappointment if you ask me, but she is definitely a tier for me, and could have gone further if the show just let her be the main character. But what do you think? A lot of fans didn't like the focus being off of the main six, and I understand why. But I think letting them be background characters in a new character's story is honestly the best way to go, and if I did a G for continuation, this is the route I would take. But if you want more info on what I would do for a G for continuation, check out this video here. Like, share, subscribe, and remember, my friends, friendship is magic.